I really love our music and our intro. I just kind of want you guys to know.
I just will never forget the day that we recorded that intro in the garage with our band.
I know, you know, it was
Gets,
beautiful. We
gets
didn't
me
want to put
pumped
any
up.
voice. I know, right? Doesn't it get you like ready to go?
Yeah. We're psyched. All right, I just tweeted this out, so get ready for these viewership numbers to.
Oh, here we go. Our 10 to 5s.
Thank goodness
All
you
right.
tweeted us out. If I would have done it, no one would have gotten it.
Yeah, because nobody follows Eric Mertens on
nobody
on Twitter.
Nobody
Absolutely
follows him
not.
at all.
Gentlemen,
I like friends.
how nice to see both of you. Ed of the Dad Hat Chronicles, Eric Mertens, Eric Mertens, minor league baseball royalty here with us on the live show.
Good job.
It is
royalty.
I mean, come on. Like, this is who gets talked about the most on any minor league baseball podcast that you listen to out. I mean, whether you're listening to,
that's who gets talked about the most.
They were talking about Eric on the minor league baseball podcast, like here's
the show before the show.
The show before the show. Here's Tyler Mon and Ben Hill, and
that's
Sam
just because
Dykstra.
I bribed them. Ben Hill was in Washington State, so I bribed him with a free beer at a Mariners game.
Good job.
I would like
congratulations.
I would like to know, first of all, how many people are going to Pasco, Washington this summer? Just like this steady stream of visitors that I have been seeing on Twitter, coming to see Eric Mertens in Pasco, Washington, including no fewer than 9 travelers from Baseball Palooza who are going to be there.
I circled that date a long time ago.
So my question,
look at that. Look at Lynn Smith.
My question for you, Eric, is can 9 guys throw out a first pitch at the same time? How does that work?
That's a great question. And I'm going to say yes. And then we'll just
figure it out after.
We'll do the math soon. So so here's Phil, here's Lynn.
I'm gonna let Paul drive the ship.
Okay, I'll drive the comment ship here. So Mike Sellers is here to defend himself. Kind of. Maybe we'll see.
There is no defending that.
But
there's no defending what Mike Sellers did.
Before we get to Mike, I would like to hear from Eric. I've been once, and it was the day after I dropped my daughter Olivia at Gonzaga. Go Zags, Eric.
Go Zags.
What is the experience of seeing a ball game in Pasco, seeing a Tri-Cities Dust Devils game? Ooh. What are the highlights? What's the core of the experience? And then what should people do like in and around Pasco besides visit your hat wall after the game?
Right. Besides
only
doing that fun stuff.
Yeah, I told the guys before we went live, it's just nice to hang out with other people with hats on their walls. I feel like
because we're not weird at all.
I'm not judged. Yeah, and Karina, my awesome wife, she has her own hat wall on the other side of the room getting started. So at least we have.
Is that true? I don't think that was there when I was there.
Nope, she is starting to collect dad hats, and she has about 20, 30. No, let me see, about 30, 35 hats.
See, and they say mixed marriages can't work, but here's
I love it.
That was good.
Good job.
All right,
that is amazing.
Our babies are going to wear 3930s. So that's
I'd rather you just do snapbacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so I've been once, but I would like to hear from you, Eric. What's the baseball experience in Pasco, Washington?
I could talk about this all day long. It's one of the passions of my life. So thanks.
Well, we've got 56 minutes left in the broadcast.
Go.
Okay. I got some water here. Yeah. I've been blessed to go to other minor league ballparks, a lot of other minor league ballparks too, and each one of them has, their flavor, what sets them apart. There's a lot of similarities too. So the Tri-Cities, it's a wide open space. It's as Paul, it's in the high desert of Eastern Washington, and so you can see forever. And the ballpark was situated facing south, which, if you know your ballparks, is not normal. That's why we had to build this huge sunshade on the first base side so that the sun wouldn't kill people. But
not as bad as Sam Lynn Ballpark in Bakersfield, which was built facing
west,
facing west, so that they had to pause the game during sunset.
Seriously.
The
Well,
sun
they're
was setting
no
right over the
longer
center field wall as
around.
people were trying to bat.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine that. But because Giza Stadium is situated south, you get these great vistas, these desert vistas. And if you're there during sunset, which most games are, you'll just see this beautiful kind of, you feel free. It's like this wide open experience. I felt very similar when I went to Wichita last year, when Karina and I went to Wichita,
Mm.
just kind of like this wide open, big sky kind of feel.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the main vibe. The ballpark was built in the mid '90s for an independent team, the Tri-City Posse, for the Western Baseball League, which hasn't existed for a long time now.
Yeah.
But so
The
it was a
name is
pretty.
great, though.
Isn't that a cool?
It's a great
Yeah,
name.
yeah. I'm really hoping for like a throwback day one of these days.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that would be nice.
and the hats are fun.
Hey,
Yeah. So, it's kind of a no frills ballpark as far as like, there's no Ferris wheel in left field or there's no,
Mm.
lazy river. Um, which I love those things. That's why we're going to Frisco later this year to check that out.
Man.
But what you do get is just a real sense of like baseball under the stars, baseball under big sky. The community is just a fun community. It's
Mhm.
kind of a laid back place because we're east of the mountains in Washington. So a lot more sunshine.
Mhm.
People here are a little more relaxed than Seattle,
Mhm.
and so
why would they not be relaxed in Seattle? That's just crazy
just a
talk.
lot of coffee. Just a lot of coffee.
Those
They're not hyped up
Canadians
at all.
are notoriously high stressed.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
City.
Um, so we do a lot of like fun community centric things, family centric things. We have something called Dusty's Dash, where right after the fifth inning ends, our mascot Dusty takes off. All of a sudden, you see a streaker in a mascot uniform,
Nice.
but he's fully clothed. What do you call a fully clothed streaker? By the way, what do you?
I think
runner?
exactly that. Yeah.
A runner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you'd call it Ed Rivera.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah. So it's Dusty sprinting across the outfield, followed by hundreds and hundreds of children. We
That's
have.
awesome.
I'm wandering around the stands with a microphone, so I like to interview people on the mic. I'm in the crowd. I'm on the field. The players are really involved, and so it's kind of just like a fun summer evening with the family, with the friends vibe. Good food, good drink. Yeah, I hope
right.
that explains it a little bit.
So my baseball palooza guys, one of our favorite things, after the game, and especially since the game's going to be over by like 8:30 because of the pitch clock now.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm just saying we drove 3 hours to a baseball game and then 9 hours back from a baseball game just to watch everyone rush through it. We have to, Ed. We have to break down our road trip here in a minute, but
We do.
But the baseball palooza guys, Eric, will
Yeah.
want after the game. What we like to do is, these guys, they're like everything's a competition, right? Like, so we
I love
can't
that.
just go to a bar and have a drink, right? Like we have to go to a place where there's foosball or duck bin bowling or ping pong or something. So we're gonna, does Pasco have that sort of thing? Or are we gonna be able to find like the
checkers?
Yeah. And actually, when the ballpark was built, it was literally built in the middle of wheat fields and sagebrush. There was nothing else around. And now, Paul, you've been here less than a year ago. There's stuff around, and a bunch of those things are bars and restaurants and pubs. So there's plenty of places near the ballpark. But the Tri-Cities, I mean, Pasco is the city that the ballpark's in, but the Tri-Cities is one big city, and it's almost like the three cities are more like boroughs within one city,
Sure.
So Kennewick's got some great places. Richland's got some great places. So I'll have to spend some time thinking about where we should send you after the game.
So let me ask you this then. Is this a if you build it, they will come situation when you put it in the middle of a wheat field?
100%, dude. Seriously, like, in fact, I was just reading an article in the local paper, the Tri-City Herald, that was reminiscing. A few years ago was the 25th anniversary of our ballpark.
Okay.
Our friendly, minor league ballpark in town, and the journalist who's writing the article, which I'd never read before, remembers being there on opening day, 1995, for the Tri-City Posse, and he said he literally thought it was the scene at the end of Field of Dreams because cars were backed up on the freeway coming in, And now there's soccer fields, there's a whole softball complex, there's wedding venues, there's whole neighborhoods, there's commercial places all around it. The city of Pasco was growing west towards Richland at the time. When I showed up to the Tri-Cities in the late 80s, the 3 cities were like pockets with open desert between them, and now it's just one big.
It
And
just
the
got
ballpark,
all.
yeah, and the ballpark was a big piece of kind of connecting that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, here's the other question I have for you, Eric, is where I remember where we sat, but we kind of bopped around the the ballpark.
Yeah.
Where would you put, 9 guys in a van, maybe downwind?
Yeah. I was just thinking of that. Yeah.
Closet,
Like I said,
perhaps.
it's an open air stadium. So, yeah.
Lot-
Tell you what, we'll put one of you in section A, one of you in section D. One
There
of
you
in
go.
section
It's good to diffuse the
Separate them.
potency of the situation.
No, you know what? I'm reading these comments, and Zach's been here.
Yeah.
Phil's been here.
I missed
So-
Zach by a day. After seeing
That's
Zach
right.
in Columbus, we missed each other by a day later on that same season.
my gosh.
So yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was crazy.
So they're bringing up some good suggestions too. Like Phil's really good with the stadium food. The garlic tater tots are good.
Yeah.
Tater tots. Yum, 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 yum.
My favorite seat in the ballpark, ironically, is in the general admission bleachers. Cheap seats, but it's the top row of the GA bleachers because you can see the Columbia River, you can see the rolling foothills of the Cascades. But if you want, that's for the view. If you want to be down close to the action, there are some really fun on-field group areas that groups rent out where you are literally sitting right next to the dugout,
Well,
between
that's
the
fun.
dugout and the bullpen.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so the players and the coaches are like walking by.
Is that like Dusty's box here? I'm looking at the seat map right now.
Yeah.
So all right.
Dusty's bullpen is on the first base side, and the hot corner is on the third base side.
Okay.
Oh,
I see.
look at
Dusty's
you guys
bullpen.
naming it. I like it.
Hot corner.
The
Dusty's
hot
deck.
corner.
Yeah.
This is
okay.
great. This is like, thank you for advertising the Tri-City Dust Devils on your show.
Come on. This is.
We have you on, right?
Right. I mean, like I said. So all right. So now I also want to know, and Ed and I need to talk about our baseball road trip together because that was a lot of fun. But I also want to know, you ended up at a Seattle Mariners game with Benjamin Hill of minor league baseball.
Very jealous.
And that just looked kind of amazing to me, right? Like to have so who reached out to whom in that situation there?
Yeah, he and I Steve Willits. Yes, okay, Phil. Sorry, Paul, I want to answer your question, but Phil just asked a good question. So Steve Willits is one of my favorite people. He's the on-field host for the Everett Aqua Sox. When their team is on the road, he is their radio broadcaster, play-by-play.
No way.
Yeah, so I love going to Everett and watching him do his thing. I like to take notes of what other on-field hosts do. He's great. But when he is up in the press box at the very top of the stadium, he told me once, I'm going to do Dusty's Dash. And it's during a commercial break, but the commercial break's only like 90 seconds, 2 minutes maybe. And so he's a few years older than me, and I could not do this. He sprinted down the steps, sprinted to the left field corner, did Dusty's Dash, made it all the way back up, and was only like late by a few pitches. It was
that's awesome.
Fascinating.
I do like, by the way, how you described some of the seats as the cheap seats, as though there are like super expensive seats to get at
minor league game, single league game.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
So circling back to Ben Hill here, though, you ended up with Ben Hill at a Mariners game.
Yes. So he visited the Dust Devils back in 2016.
Okay.
And the next morning I took him out to lunch/breakfast, and he and I really hit it off. He's a guy somewhat around our generation, loves minor league baseball. He's a funny guy. He also is he's got some depth to him. Like he likes to talk about life and the quirkiness of things. And so
I like it.
Yeah. So when I heard he was coming back to the Pacific Northwest, I immediately reached out to him. I was like, dude, are you coming to Spokane or the Tri-Cities? And he basically stayed on Interstate 5, I-5, He did Eugene, Hillsborough, Tacoma, and Vancouver.
What a jerk. Didn't go to
Right?
Tri-Cities?
Come on. Yeah.
I-5 elitist.
Right.
And, it's kind of funny here in Washington, we have the west side and the east side, and they
Right.
are very different culturally, as
Yep.
you can imagine.
Yep.
What? No,
Um,
that's just crazy talk.
yeah. But anyway, he had an off day, Monday, of course, everyone's off day.
Right.
And I asked him what he's doing, and I said I would love to maybe meet halfway. Could you meet along the Columbia Gorge or something? And we tried to figure it out. Anyway, I finally said, screw it. I'm taking 2 days off work. I basically just told my job I was taking 2 days off. I didn't really ask. And surprisingly, they're like, okay, they figured it out. And so I drove over on a Monday, met him in Tacoma, and we went to a Mariners game. He got us the tickets because of his
Nice.
connections.
Okay.
And then I bought a few beers, and it was like hanging out with an old friend again.
That's amazing. I have to say that, I've only talked to him in the context of my podcast and then briefly on the show before the show podcast. But he and I feel like he and I are kindred spirits in a lot of ways. A, minor league baseball, of course. B, Philadelphia sports fandom.
Right.
He's a Philadelphia sports guy. And C, we both have a strong affinity for Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh yes.
So Ben and I have those three things
Man.
in common.
That doesn't surprise me. Like you two, I could picture hanging out for a long time, for sure.
I guess I don't
Which
know.
I hope you do sometime.
I hope we do get to at some point.
Sorry about that.
We've got a conversation about Trash Pandas games going on in the I'm gonna be. This is a little bit top secret. I've been kind of sworn to secrecy. I've got a sort of top secret trip coming up that I'm not allowed to really publicize, but I'm actually going to be at a Trash Pandas game later on this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
When is it?
That's about as much as I'm allowed to say.
Man,
know,
listen.
Right? And it's
Is
not
it
me.
top secret because of a certain role you have?
It's not a role that I have. It's who I'm going to be there with who doesn't want it splashed all over the internet.
Is it Benjamin Hill?
It's not Ben Hill.
Is it Ed Rivera?
It's not Ed Rivera, but you're getting closer.
Okay.
Ed is not. No, Ed wants to go to Trash Pandas game.
We have several designated eaters. By the way, Phil from Food and Fitteds. I tried to find Food and Fitteds on Twitter and did not. So I guess Food and Fitteds is on
Strictly
other
for YouTube.
platforms. So
or Instagram.
Yeah, a new reel on Instagram he just dropped today, visiting Truist Field.
Oh, okay. By the way, I am going to reach out to Virgil when I'm at the Trash Pandas game just to make sure I say hello to Virgil in person. So, Ed, you and I had an amazing experience recently.
Sorry, my wife is out of town, and so I'm playing Daddy, and a certain 4-year-old. It is 9 o'clock at night over here, and refuses to go to sleep.
Oh,
This is why I highly recommend grown children. I've got a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old, and
oh God, this kid is killing me, guys.
The other thing you can do is send them out of the country. My 16-year-old is in Guatemala right now. So
I thought about giving her Benadryl. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Yes.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, it's good to drug your children.
I was gonna do rum.
Yeah.
My daughter Maya's on a service trip right now. She's a high school
Wow.
trip, and they're doing all these service projects in Guatemala, and they're living with host families, and they were not allowed to bring their cell phones. So I just talked to them. It's children knowledge.
Thank you, Zach.
And so but they've been building like chimneys for for like one of the leading causes of health problems there is people who like cook on open flames inside their homes, and so they go and they help like build chimneys to get the smoke out of the home.
No,
They're working on a coffee farm. Yeah, they're doing all this cool stuff down there.
Coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, but the smell is amazing.
I know, I love the smell of coffee, and that like super tangy fruit that it actually like comes from. Amazing. So that's what Maya's doing. And then Olivia's out to dinner with friends right now. So so it's an
They're
empty
living
house
the
here.
life.
They are living the life. So this is why I recommend
Yes, darling.
adult children. It's
That's the best.
well, Eric, let me tell you about the trip that Eric and I had.
Please. Please.
Sorry, I said that backwards. Eric, let me tell you about the trip that Ed and I had. I'm gonna have to answer this question from Phil here in a moment, but we were part of a show that you are a producer on, the Let's Get To, James Christopher's Let's Get To his season 5 debut party he held at the Omaha Storm Chasers. And we were trying to find a way to hang out a little bit outside of that game. So Ed flew to Denver.
He did.
Baseball by Design wildlife consultant Ranger Amy Burnett and I drove down to Denver after. So Ed spent a day in Denver.
I did. I got there early in the morning because of time change. You know,
Right.
I'm in this like time zone that doesn't exist. So got there. I did a tour of Coors Field.
Oh, nice.
It is a beautiful ballpark. You know, we were able to get into one of the clubhouses, the visiting clubhouse. I got yelled at because I started making my way up to Mile High, the purple seats, and I got yelled at. And I was told to get down, so I didn't make it. I was like 3 rows away.
Oh, it's like a Prison Break movie where like
I was like, you know, everybody was like walking away, and I'm like, I'm like very incognito. You know, can't nobody find me, so I'm like, quietly going up, and then she's like, "Excuse me, sir. Yeah, I need you to calm down."
You're like, "No hablo inglés."
I'm like, "Excuse me, I'm the cleaning crew. Sorry."
But then you also went to the National Ballpark Museum.
I did. I spent like an hour and a half in there by myself with a guy there that works there, volunteer, right? Like he's a volunteer that works there, and we talked baseball for like an hour and a half. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's this amazing collection. It's kind of like if a baseball memorabilia collector married someone who worked at TGI Fridays, and they started a museum, and they just had like all this like
all over the place,
like all this crazy stuff. Just like it's like they loaded all this baseball memorabilia into like a whirly gig, and then just like it spun around really fast, and wherever it stuck to the walls, that's where it was on display. So it's
great though.
It's a beautiful, fun place. Yeah, totally cool.
I love the seats there, like with the brick. You know, like it has each seat from like different.
Oh wow!
Yeah, there was one from from League Park.
Yeah,
Evansville. Like it was beautiful. Like, oh man, it was awesome.
The other thing that I was super proud of to be able to share this with Ed was Ed flew into Denver. It's a $10 train ride from the airport, which is basically in Kansas.
Yeah,
I've been to that airport. You're not
like wrong. It's in the middle of nowhere.
Way the heck out there.
It's like the opposite of build it and they will.
No, come. They built it and no one came.
Nobody came.
No, they're like, no, you're too far.
We used to have one of these airports like they have in Chicago, where like when the planes run off the highway, they're in the interstate, right? Like they're
like right off above it, yeah,
just like totally in the hemmed in by the city. And they basically extricated it from the city and put it out in the middle of the the cow fields, and it's still half an hour from anything. But you can take the train for $10 all the way down to Union Station. And Union Station puts you right there by like the 16th Street Pedestrian Mall and by all these cool little restaurants and the Ballpark Museum and the ballpark itself. When you get dropped off at Union Station, you can walk right to the ballpark. So that's what Ed did.
And then Ed was very happy.
Yeah. So then Amy and I, after work, drove down there and met him, and we went to one of our favorite little brew pubs right there in the city. So timeout. Okay. All right.
Paul kind of left me there for like a while. And that was just like a homeless man just walking around. I don't know where I'm doing. And Paul was like, "Oh, I'll be there in a minute." And it was like 16 hours later, I was in a corner passed out asking for change.
Yeah. Like an empty 7-Eleven cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Asleep on his backpack. Yeah, it was. But hey, you made enough to get the double cheeseburger at the brew
delicious.
Pub, so that was
it was delicious. Free water, obviously.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So Amy and I went. We collected Ed. We had dinner down there in Denver. Drove back up to Fort Collins.
We did.
We still had Nico, the Polish exchange student, at that point, so the guest room was not available. But we did put Ed in one of the kids' rooms because those are empty at various times. Olivia was still at college, so that room was empty. Nice. And then the next morning we got up. Well, okay. So the plan was let's get up and have.
We had ice cream outside.
Oh, we did. That's true.
In the freezing cold.
We had ice
at
cream
what time
in helmets
of night?
At like 10:30 at night.
10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
That's amazing. The 2 grown-ass men.
And Amy.
Like
Oh, yeah.
A grown-ass woman.
Shame.
That's the
None
best.
whatsoever.
Good.
You open up his cabinet, and there's like this massive stack of ice cream helmets just ready to go.
Those are
Oh,
the duplicates that are for serving ice cream in. It has nothing to do with the the display.
With the museum.
Exactly, which Ed got to see.
I was very impressed. I was like a kid in a candy store. I'm not gonna.
I am
it was
jealous
amazing.
of that. I am Paul, you've seen my hat wall in person.
have.
I need to go see your.
We
ice
need to
cream
get you
helmet.
here, Eric. We could do the Colorado baseball trip to end all Colorado baseball trips here.
Yes, I need to. Yeah.
So
Okay, so when are we doing this? Let's do it. I'm in.
So
Twist my arm.
later on, like sometime after this plan was formed, James Christopher reaches out to us and says, "Hey, by the way, we've got a tour of the Storm Chasers ballpark at 1 p.m." So suddenly we've gone from having to do the 7-hour drive to get there in time for like a 6 p.m. game to
we would have been, just taking it easy, no issues.
On in there, sleeping in, wake up when we wake up, have some, have some breakfast burritos. And so now it's like, okay, well, now we got to leave at like 5 a.m. in order to get there by 1.
Oh my gosh.
So we wake up and I'm trying to be chill about things, but I realize that I have neglected to factor in the time zone change.
That'll get you every time.
Between Fort Collins and Omaha. So suddenly we go from having an hour and a half of leeway to having a half hour of leeway, which was not terrible. I mean, it was enough for what we needed. We did get about 20 minutes out of town before Amy realized she had forgotten her wallet, which meant that the weekend got a little more expensive for me.
For Paul.
So we do the tour. The Storm Chasers ballpark is really nice. It's, on the outskirts of town. If you've seen the movie 50 Summers, it's
which is great, by the way.
That's cool. We do the tour. We go get some runzas.
Yep.
I had never had a runza before, which is basically equal parts dough, sauerkraut, beef, and grease. And
did you like it?
It was a little greasy.
It was heavy.
I found the angioplasty that came with it a little bit much. Yeah, so that was
heavy-handed.
Yeah. So anyway, we had a runza, went back, caught a nap. I mean, I needed a freaking nap, and so we went back to the hotel, checked in, caught a nap, went to the ball game. Ball game was great. About, I don't know, 2 innings in, which with the pitch clock is like 15 minutes. We're 2 innings into the game, and all of this chatter. Ed has been planning all along to rent a car and drive to Kansas City to meet Eric and Joe Profit for a ball game. So we're sitting there, and I had sort of casually dropped with Amy. I was just like, it'd be kind of fun to go catch that Royals game, huh? And Amy's like, oh yeah, she's like, and she said to me, like, we're hearing all the chatter about this Royals game. And Amy turns to me and she says, if that were an afternoon game, I would absolutely do it, instead of a night game.
And I was like,
I was like, that game's at 1 o'clock. It is absolutely an afternoon game. So we deliberated for like 3 innings, and it was just like, I'm in this this stage of my life right now where she forgot her wallet. Hey, Eric Profit is here. So I'm in this stage of my life where I'm like trying to find reasons to say yes instead of trying to find reasons to say no. And so we just said yes. We were like, we're gonna go. We're going.
Well,
to Kansas
you also
City.
Forget that, like, I also had Eric started texting you, Eric Profit. I was like, hey, I need you to start texting Paul and convince him to come to Kansas City with us. You forgot the part that Donnie Wise was also going to be there.
That's right. Donnie was there. Donnie was
at the Omaha Storm Chasers game. We didn't even know he was going to be there.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, well then, then you were like, well, Ed, why don't you ask him if he can, drive you to Kansas City? I was like, oh, that's a great idea. So I canceled my rental. I was supposed to go with them. We convinced Paul and Amy. So we woke up early. We left at by 8 o'clock or something like that.
So all of a sudden, Ed's not renting a car, and Amy and I are driving. And somehow I ended up buying beer for everybody. How did that happen?
And you're going on like 3 hours of sleep.
Right.
Yes.
Days. Yeah. Yes. Well, that was the thing after. So it was a fun game.
It was hot as hell too.
It was very hot. We were out there in the outfield by the fountains, which is like an awesome place to see the game from.
Yeah.
We were
no water coming at us though. None.
No water, no. But it was, I don't know. I was the only one who was like, okay, everyone else was too hot. So
wait, hold on a second, because I had this big, huge helmet of nachos and brisket. right? And I was full.
Yeah.
And then the sun started hitting me.
Oh yeah. Ed's like, let me just like curl up
And
here.
Ed
He's like
did
drooling on Joe
during the
Profit's
middle of
shoulder.
the game, and I was like, here I go. For like an inning or two, I was out.
That's funny. We got some great ice cream helmets. And then Amy and I had a 9-hour drive back to Fort Collins after the game. Got in about quick hop and a
Just
jump.
a little one.
And so it was great.
After the game, then Donnie drove me to the airport
in Kansas City.
Yeah. So I've been at 3 different airports like the whole weekend. You know, my flight to Charlotte, no issues. Everything was good. Perfect. My flight from Charlotte to Raleigh, which is the shortest one. If I would have driven, I would have been there in no time because it's a 2-hour drive. I've done it 1,000 times. But, I was like, let's just, it'll be an easy, 45-minute. I'm in and out in my car. Listen, I didn't get home till 2:00 in the morning.
Oh my gosh. Paul, what time did you get home?
I got home about 1:30 in the morning, but keep
in
mind,
my God.
But mine was mountain time. So I beat Ed beat me home by a couple of hours. So
Ed, you were in 3 different time zones.
Yeah,
I was
got a lot of time zones. That's right.
Oh, man.
Then let me tell you, then the very next day, I had to get up early in the morning to go to work.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It was not fun.
Yeah.
You two are the best because you are encouraging me to keep thinking like that. Like, hey, we're here. We're only 6 hours away.
Right.
Do it. Yeah,
Why
absolutely.
not?
I mean, that was fine reasons to say yes instead of finding reasons to say no. It's gotten me. It served me
so
well.
So far, the reasons to say yes have outweigh the reasons to say no.
Right.
So but it was great though. It was a lot of fun. The Storm Chasers game was great.
Totally.
Right? We got to meet the director of 50 Summers.
That
was there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
The documentary director.
Right. Yeah, the director. He was a great guy. He's coming on the podcast soon. Just keep an eye out for that one.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was great. The Kansas City trip was great. Joe and Eric, amazing people. Obviously, the Prophet brothers. So yeah,
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you two went because James Christopher invited everyone who is a producer on the show or on the Let's Get To team, and I tried to make it work financially and schedule wise, and it just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
I instead chaperoned a high school prom.
Nice.
I would have rather been
sound
with you guys.
fun at all.
It was okay. It was more. I'm sorry. It was less horrible than I thought it would be.
All right.
So,
all right.
But anyway, I got to live vicariously through you because you were like, live tweeting some things.
We were.
So I'm so glad you went.
It was a lot of fun.
I've got an episode of the podcast coming up where it's I've got some live in situ interviews going on
and I still have to yet release that episode where you and me did.
We just were like
and Amy
a little delirious on I-80 and
we killed a bird.
We did kill a bird. We didn't mean to.
Well, no, the bird got in the way. The bird got in the way.
Yeah,
it went straight at us and it bounced off the hood and it just
it was playing chicken with us and it lost.
You're just as guilty as Randy Johnson.
Pretty much.
We have some comments to catch up on here.
Yeah,
Phil. Here's what's going on with the Owls with a Z right now. They are playing at the complex. Future Legends Complex is what it's called. It's in Windsor, Colorado, about 20 minutes from me. And they're playing at the complex, but they're not playing at what is actually going to be their 6,000 seat ballpark, which is not ready yet. But they are playing at a college field on that complex. So I'm counting it as having been to a new ballpark because it's the Owls ball. I don't know. What I don't know is, do I count it as a second ballpark when I go back to their actual ballpark next year?
Yes,
you should. Yeah, okay. Because it's still technically 2 different ballparks.
Okay. I don't believe that their team store is. It was just like a little pop-up stand during the game, so I don't believe there's going to be anything open during the day when they're not playing. I did get myself a dad hat.
It was beautiful.
It was a nice dad hat. Yeah, it had the letter C with the
I wanted the one with the owls, but they still don't have it. And
no, they don't have any of the ones with the owl's eyes. Lynn says the National Ballpark Museum is great. That is true. The National Ballpark Museum once paid me $50 to talk about at an event that they co-sponsored with a train museum in Denver to talk about minor league baseball train logos.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's such a niche. Like, who are we going to get to do this who lives in Colorado?
Right.
There's this guy who has a book. Let's do it.
The funny thing about that is they just asked me to do it, and I was just like, yeah, that would be totally fun. I wasn't expecting to be paid, and they ended up sending me the sort of older woman who runs the place ended up sending me a $50 bill in the mail. Like, it just showed up in
Literally
the
like a $50 bill.
like an actual currency showed up
That's
in
hilarious.
the US Post. Phil is going to absolutely enjoy going to see the Rockies on the July 24 and 25. I will be in Ocean City, New Jersey when Phil's here, so I can't join you. I'm sorry to say. And the Vibes with an S on the 27th. That's great. Amy and I are doing a Colorado road trip. We're doing
nice.
We're going to Pride Night on this Friday, June 9th.
Awesome.
And
With
then
the Rockies?
That's Pride Night at Coors Field. Yep, we're gonna go
Nice.
see that game. We got the special ticket that gets you the.
What do you get?
You get a bucket hat, a rainbow themed bucket
fun.
hat. Yeah, absolutely. Then we're going to see the Grand Junction Jackalopes the next day.
Nice.
And then we're going to see the Vibes, who I have seen obviously a number of times, but Amy has not. So that'll be new for Amy.
Vibes is such a cool logo.
Seriously.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I got to visit Grand Junction a couple years ago, 2021.
Yeah.
And I had the best time. What like unique ballpark, and talk about views. And I love their new logo, and I loved your episode.
The Jackalopes.
I love purple and royal blue together. I just love that.
It's interesting.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
When I interviewed Nathan Martinez, who designed the logo, and he was basically like, I was just assigned those colors. Like, I was basically told I had to use those colors.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, fine, whatever. I mean, I guess we're using these colors.
Zach asks if we drank Kool-Aid. I did not drink Kool-Aid. Did you drink any Kool-Aid, Ed, when we were in Nebraska?
I drank the adult beverage.
Figuratively or literally drinking the Kool-Aid?
Right,
both.
Exactly. Drinking the minor league baseball.
If it's in minor league baseball Kool-Aid, I'm.
Yeah, we're
in it. Yeah.
Zach. Sorry, go. No. You go. You guys go.
Well, I want to point out Phil's coming to see the Dust Devils in a few weeks. He's going to Colorado in your neck of the woods. Then he's going to see the Prophets in Wichita.
There's a lot going on here.
Oh wait, Zach's going to Wichita.
Zach is going to Wichita, but so is Phil. Phil's going to
June 28th and 29th.
June 28th, June 23rd. Zach is going to be there.
Man,
yeah.
Okay.
Lynn's hitting the Rockies game on Sunday. I'll be just down the road in. Phil says that he's going to be at the Stanley Hotel up there in Estes Park, which is
I don't know what that means.
That is where The Shining set up in Estes Park in Colorado. So if you've ever seen The Shining,
I will not be going there.
No, it's a cool spot though, and you can get they've got like a they've got like this sort of like old timey bar where you can get like old timey drinks. It's like a little bit like sort of like a speakeasy, and that's a cool spot. And Phil, stay hydrated. It's like 10,000 feet of elevation up there, so I don't know how you are with altitude, but drink a lot.
I got a headache. We talked about this.
Yeah, and you weren't. We weren't that high up here, right? Like it's not that high.
That's why you were deliriously wandering up to the purple seats.
That's right. That's right. He's like, I got to get a mile high.
I don't know where I am. Yeah, help me,
guys. So close.
Dang it.
Yeah. So, holy smokes! I feel like we've just been sort of going nonstop here. This is great. And here's everyone's travels. This is awesome.
The Twins, such a beautiful ballpark. I was actually impressed with. I was pleasantly surprised about the Twins ballpark.
Yeah, nice ballpark. I hope you're not, Ed. I hope you're not taking too much personal offense at Phil talking about a Juicy Lucy here. This was when we did the Twin Cities twin billing with Curve Brim Media. We went and saw the Twins in the afternoon and the Saints in the evening.
Right.
And for some reason, we all left the ballpark at the same time. Some of us were able to go and get a Juicy Lucy between ball games, and one of the cars was not able to. If you're not familiar with the Juicy Lucy, it is essentially a hamburger with cheese.
2 patties, and you put cheese in between, and you mash them up together.
Oh, so it's on the inside.
It's like a cheese pocket. It's like a cheese pocket.
Cheese pocket.
And yeah,
Just
you know what it
looking.
was? It was just honestly, it was no one's fault, to be honest with you. It's just like the traffic getting out of there. Like it couldn't allow us to just like get back in it. And by the time it was like we had to take this big huge loop, and then it was just too late.
A molten cheeseburger. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, one of the cars was able to make it happen and the other car was not. And it's been a sticking point in my relationship with Ed ever since then.
Yep.
Well,
How dare you?
Eric,
I'm
what are
glad-
the sorry, you go.
No, I'm just gonna say I'm glad you could be stuck in a car together for a couple hours.
We were stuck in different cars. That was the yeah,
Well,
on the way to
since
And then
then,
after that,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah.
Yeah, we had 10 hours in a car together over 2 days. We had 7 hours to Omaha.
And
then 3
guess who
hours to
drove
Kansas
all the
City.
way? That guy.
Amy.
No,
Paul did. Oh, Paul.
I drove the whole way. I did.
Paul
all
likes
the driving.
driving for some reason.
I do like
Open
driving.
road. Did you get? Does the driver get to pick the music or the podcast or the?
You know what we
audiobook?
listened to was we listened to my appearance on the Judge John Hodgman podcast,
Which was
Oh,
hilarious.
fun.
still like one
fun.
of my favorite things that I've ever done. It was on the Judge John Hodgman live show.
Yeah, it was funny.
And,
It was great.
That was just like he's just like I don't know who all here knows John Hodgman, but like I think he's just a freaking genius, and I've been a fan of his for a long time. And it was just like
he kind of killed you though.
oh, he
like,
did. He crushed me. He
Totally
crushed me. But
crushed you. It was
yeah, yeah.
hilarious.
But he crushed my friend Chris too. So
He
you know,
did. He did.
neither one of us got out unscathed.
Yeah, no, none of the both of you got hit hard.
But it was Judge John Hodgman has a podcast. He's sort of a C-list celebrity. He's been in a handful of TV shows. He was if you remember the old Macintosh commercials where it was like the one guy was I'm a Mac and Justin Long, I guess, was I'm a Mac and John Hodgman was I'm a PC.
I know him. I mean,
Yeah.
I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so he has a podcast where he like adjudicates disputes between, couples, friends, siblings, whatever.
That's funny.
And I submitted a case against my friend Chris, my running buddy Chris. He decided that he didn't believe in sports jinxes anymore.
Is that
And
your
then-
Mariners? He's a Mariners.
He's the
fan?
Mariners friend. Yeah.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
he very blatantly jinxed my Phillies the day they lost the World Series.
Oh,
And,
shoot.
And so I took him to court, and then the case was heard right between the end of the World Series and the Super Bowl. Like it was
Oh my gosh.
the Eagles had already made the Super Bowl. So I'm just like, I can't have Chris at my party if he's going to jinx the Eagles. It's fine if he jinxes his own team.
Yeah.
I don't want
Well.
him jinxing my team. So
I
don't
think
know
you got
how-
kind of like you got the short end on the stick on that deciding factor.
right.
You know.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know how you can be a Mariners fan and not believe in jinxes or curses or something.
well, I
I'm a
think
Cleveland fan and I believe in and jinxes. Absolutely.
his argument was that if jinxes were real, he's done so much in his life, to try to bring his team's luck. If jinxes were real, if that were real, then the Mariners would have been to the playoffs more than once in 20 years. So
got it.
Wow,
Yeah.
we went there, huh?
that was his argument.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
That's kind of rough.
It's a roundabout argument. That's
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It's
He
a
was
wrong argument, but I respect the roundabout argument
Yeah.
about it.
He was a guest on my Tacoma Rainiers episode.
That's
Chris
right.
was.
I remember listening to that. Oh, Karina and I just went to a Rainiers game last weekend, which was a blast.
That's
Um,
awesome.
And get this. So the Dust Devils had 2-week homestand, so 13 games in 13 days because we had a doubleheader in there.
Awesome.
And then a week off in which Karina and I went to a Mariners game. It was Gonzaga night at the Mariners, which was fun.
That's
then
awesome.
Did you
Tacoma
get the
Rainiers
special
game.
hat?
It was an embroidered jersey.
Oh, wow. That's a good
Oh,
giveaway. Holy
yeah.
smokes.
It's really good, like top-notch giveaway.
I'm still
Um,
waiting for my because they did the same thing with the Guardians Kent State
Yeah?
night, with
Yeah?
the hat and everything. So I'm waiting for it to get delivered
All
Wait,
right.
what do you mean delivered?
because I couldn't go.
Oh.
So I worked it out, back channels. I was like, listen, I'll buy the
Back
ticket.
channels.
I just want to get the hat.
Give me the
That's
hat.
it. I don't
yeah.
care about the game.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be there. And they're like, oh yeah,
Ah.
sure. So
Oh man. Well, and
I'm
then
probably
the
never
Dust-
gonna see it, but
No. Okay, you have to post it whenever you get it.
if I ever
Um,
get it, yeah.
Yeah. And then the Dust Devils had a homestand last week, and now get this. I don't know if you've heard of this. We're supposed to be playing in Eugene starting tonight for a 6-game road trip. But the Oregon Ducks have just made the super regional.
Oh,
NCAA college baseball.
I just saw that.
And so the Eugene Emeralds are coming up here and playing at Geisa Stadium starting tomorrow.
Okay.
And so we're going to have, in the span of 6 weeks, span of 6 weeks, 5 of those weeks we'll have had home games.
So
you're going to be a busy man.
Yeah.
So are you going to have a Monday game, or is there like a doubleheader mixed in there somewhere?
There's a doubleheader. Yeah.
Okay.
Saturday will be a doubleheader.
A 7-inning doubleheader.
Yep. You know
is that
it.
what that is? Okay.
I love those. Yeah.
Eric,
I was just at a doubleheader at the Durham Bulls. 7-inning with
awesome
with Zach Rabb. And that was a lot of fun.
I feel like these 7-inning doubleheaders is the antidote to what Paul's talking about. These like 2 quick games with the pitch clock. Go to find a doubleheader. Get your money's worth.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we did, sort of by accident.
In Missoula.
In Missoula, we ended up at a Paddleheads doubleheader, two 7-inning games. That was awesome. We had a whole bunch of people there. That was the first time I think that was the first time I met the baseball mapper guys in person. So that was awesome. That was a lot of fun. And and that was where Eric convinced my daughter to go to Gonzaga. So that was
congratulations,
a massively life-changing trip for us, right?
Yeah,
that really put Gonzaga on the map for us, even though we didn't visit Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Now she goes to Gonzaga.
What a beautiful drive, by the way, from Fort Collins to Gonzaga. You basically you go north through Wyoming and turn left when you hit Montana, and then you drive to Spokane, which, by the way, I'm wearing.
I love your hat.
This is the hat that Eric sent me unprompted out of the kindness of his heart. He just sent me a
hat. That's a beautiful hat.
The Red Band Trout Spokane Indians hat. But and so this, like, the drive through Montana and then a little bit of Idaho, and then for 12 miles in Washington State once you cross the border until you hit Spokane. Wow, like, incredibly beautiful. Like, what a place.
Man.
And so like, that drive was awesome. Let me tell you something, though. My 16-year-old daughter Maya has her driver's permit and wanted to come with me because she loves her sister and wanted to be there to pick her up, but also wanted to get to log some driving hours. And that was terrifying.
Did she drive on I-90 in Montana?
She did. She drove like 13 hours.
It's like the Audubon, dude.
Right.
Like they just put a speed limit on that stretch of interstate like 5 years ago. I'm not exaggerating. It used to be no speed limit.
It was
really,
yeah.
You know what? You guys can't handle this. We got to put a speed limit. You guys, can't. This is why we can't have nice things,
right? But that was a
terrifying.
wild experience, Maya.
Wow.
She over the course of 2 days, she drove 13 hours of that.
So she logged her hours.
Yeah,
Whoa.
she did.
Good job, Dad.
So, well, Maya, she did.
Yeah, we'll talk about the nerves later. See how that goes.
My whole thing was like, keep the tone as even as possible. You might want to get a little bit left. We're drifting into that lane where there's already a truck. Maybe just get left a little bit. Like, maybe we can't share that lane with that truck. Like, get left, please.
Watch out for the moose.
Yeah. Just avoid the accidents.
Oh man.
Maybe just let these folks merge in front of you. And so, I was working so hard to be like even. I did a pretty good job. And then we did stay in Missoula overnight. There was no paddle. Let me tell you something I did. Look, you guys are going to be disappointed in me, and I apologize in advance for this.
Never.
I did not anticipate the trip the way it went. And if we had done it differently, we could have left Thursday night in the pouring rain. It was like pouring rain here, but we could have left Thursday night, driven part way, maybe stayed somewhere in Wyoming, and then gotten to Spokane early enough on Friday to see a Spokane Indians game.
Because you haven't been to one yet, right?
No, I still have not been to one. And so I wanted to do that, and then I was just like, oh well, maybe we can stick around, like hang out in Spokane during the day. Go to sushi.com for lunch because that's a real restaurant.
I'm sorry.
That,
It's called
I know exactly where that is.
It's
I know
a
exactly where
restaurant
that is.
called sushi.com.
That's
And-
hilarious.
And guess what
It's
its
a great
URL is not?
Sushi.com.
Sushi.com.
That's
False
awesome.
Yeah, so I was just like, well, let's hang out in Spokane, and then we'll go to the Spokane Indians game that night, and then we can drive like a few hours, maybe get back to Missoula, and then finish the drive on Sunday. Well, we had Olivia checked out of her dorm room by like 9 o'clock in the morning, and so
That's a record for a college kid.
it was
Yeah.
incredible, right? Like they had like a pretty specific like schedule for them all, and so it's 9 in the morning, and I'm like, well, let's hang out for till 5 o'clock at night. Let's hang out for 8 hours and then see a baseball game. And they decided they would rather drive back to Fort Collins. So,
Dang.
all right.
Yeah.
So Phil just said, when in Missoula, get a burger at the Missoula Club. I'm going to ask Phil if he means the Montana Club, because that's where Maya and I went. We went to a place called the Montana Club, and I did get a burger there, and it was incredibly delicious. And
this is fascinating. I hate to interrupt you, but guess where my wife Karina just had dinner tonight?
Did she have dinner at the Montana Club in Missoula?
She had dinner at the Montana Club in Butte, Montana.
Oh, I didn't know it was a chain.
I didn't either.
That's interesting.
Well,
I'm
all
sorry
right
to interrupt.
then.
Yeah. No, I have a picture because Maya doesn't eat red meat. She eats poultry and fish, but she doesn't eat red meat or pork. And I sort of thought it was funny that we would
Tough in
go
Montana.
to this
Go
place
to a
called
Montana
Montana
Club.
Club.
You're like in the middle of
And,
cow country.
I was just like, well, Maya, we can find somewhere else. It was right next door to the hotel. We were both completely spent, and I just wanted to go to the closest place. And it was literally right next door to the hotel. And we went over there, and Maya found something. She found something good. And I think did I get wing? No. We got like stuffed mushrooms as an appetizer too. So that was super good.
Fancy.
Yeah. So the Montana Club. So if we're talking about the same place, that was great. I actually really super enjoyed it.
Montana Club, and you had the burger.
Yeah.
What's so special about it?
Now that I remember that, I actually, they let you swap out the burger patty for crispy chicken, which I did.
Oh.
Because it sounded super good.
And again, there goes the disappointment. Oh,
Phil says, nah. He's like, it's called the Missoula Club. All
okay.
right.
Awesome. Can I share with you what I've been working on? So this builds off of what you're just saying. This is my last week of school year, the school I work at.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 3 weeks, Karina and I are doing a Montana ballpark road trip.
Oh, nice.
All right.
So
let me try to do some guessing here. You're going to go to Kalispell to see the Range Riders.
Correct. In order. Correct.
Okay. Oh, let's try to do this in order. Okay. So Kalispell, it depends on the schedules, but how would you do this here? So let me think about this. So the teams are going to be Kalispell, you're going to have Missoula, you're going to have Great Falls, and you're going to have Billings.
Right.
Is that it? Am I leaving anything out?
No, except Great Falls isn't home for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
You're gonna try to get our friend here the little alien hat, but they're not gonna be there.
I know.
They don't have it. They don't have it. No, I've given up on this alien hat. I tried to trade Ed something for that alien hat, and he wasn't having it. All right. I'm gonna say if it's a round trip.
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna say you're gonna go see the Range Riders in Kalispell.
Correct.
Then you're gonna head east, and you're gonna go out to Billings.
Correct.
And then you're gonna hit Missoula on the way back.
You got it.
Woo! Nice.
Throw in a Spokane or a Tri-City at Spokane game on the way out.
No, okay.
Represent.
So we'll go from here to Spokane, and then on the Friday night, we have to stay somewhere between Kalispell and Billings because that's a long state.
So
we're thinking. I was thinking of Great Falls because I still want to see Centene Stadium. I've been to a game. I went to a Voyagers game like in 2008 or something like that.
Okay.
But it's been a minute. But they're not even home, so we might stay in Helena, which used to have a team, or we might stay in Bozeman. I don't know, but anyway, I'm very excited.
Okay. That sounds like an amazing road trip. It sounds incredibly beautiful.
Pretty awesome.
And what a thing to do. So when are you doing that?
Oh, June. Oh my gosh, I don't even remember.
Okay.
June 20th through the 25th or something like that. 26th.
Eric, I'm gonna ask for a favor. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
the Billings Mustangs. If they have a dad head, shoot me an email or a text
Yeah.
message.
Yeah.
We'll work it out because I've been trying to get on their website, but they don't have anything online.
Oh, bummer.
It is
Okay.
one of my biggest pet peeves, guys.
Yeah.
That like a lot of these teams, and I get it, I understand, right? Where a lot of them are very short staffed and all this stuff,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
a lot of them don't have a lot of stuff in
Yeah.
their website.
You know what I found? And I completely agree. And I get to see it from both sides as a fan who just wants to buy all the hats, and then someone who works for a team that
Yeah.
who needs to update our website. But you're right. And like if you go in person or you call them, a lot of times they'll be happy to. That's how I got this hat. I called them in person.
That's awesome.
That is such a beautiful hat.
Thank you. Was not up on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This hat, by the way, I wrote about it on sportslogos.net.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like one of the most like fulfilling, fun things for me because when I wrote about it, the in-house designer for the team who created that logo,
Mia, please lay down.
was super psyched that his work was featured on sportslogos.net. He's like, I'd been following sportslogos.net forever and ever and ever. And it was just like, he's like, everyone look, he's like, a thing I did is on sportslogos.net. And I was just like, I was like so glad that I had actually written about it, right? Like that I had covered it and was able to do that. And so I
guys, yeah, Minor League Fan Club. What's up, dude? And look at that.
Hey, you got one.
I did. Look at that. Nice. Such a cool logo.
It is great. Yeah. That's totally fun. Amy and I just purchased a beer fridge, by the way. You should see the pile of stickers that we have that's about to go on this beer fridge as soon as it gets here.
Let's go.
I love it. Do you need a Dad Hat Chronicles sticker to make
Actually, I do, because the ones you sent me already went on water bottles, and so now I don't have them.
Okay, done deal.
Eric, I do have some of the ones because you gave me a handful of them from the Dust Devils when I was out there. So
good.
So I have some of those left, so I could that'll go on there. So
we're honored.
Yeah. So that's I'm psyched about that. But man, I'm psyched for everybody's road trips here. This is amazing.
I know, right? Like how cool are those?
We spend all year dreaming and like fantasizing about these
baseballmapper.com during the winter and all this fun stuff.
Exactly.
These are the salad days too, right? Like this is as baseball-y as it gets right now. I mean, it's like everything is going. This is the collegiate summer level, the independent leagues, all the minor levels.
The collegiate wood bat team just started here. You know, the Abbey
What team
League.
is that, Ed? What team is that you're by?
I am by the Burlington Sock Puppets.
Oh yeah! Oh, that's awesome.
But I'm also down the road from the Coastal Plains League, the Holly Springs Salamanders.
Ooh, okay.
That's pretty cool. I like their logo. I love the sock.
Which, by the way, did you guys know that it was the Salamanders are owned by the same ownership group of the Durham Bulls?
No.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
That's cool.
So I talked to the merchandise guy, Brian, awesome dude for the Bulls. He also is working to get updated the Salamanders merch store. So keep an eye out for that. Yeah, they're cool stuff coming for that team.
That's awesome.
You know what we forgot to do because we were surrounded by the aura of Eric Mertens.
I know, right?
We forgot to break down Mike Sellers' wildly deviant
horrible list. Yes. Horrible list. He's lucky. You know what though? I'm kind of glad that we didn't do it, to be honest with you. Mike is, I don't know if Mike is here. I haven't seen him to defend himself. So, I kind of want to do it when he's around.
Yeah.
So that way I can insult him. And then if he has something to say, I mute him, because his opinion is wrong.
Yeah. I think we just need to bring Mike on and make him.
Oh, there it is.
Uh-oh.
Hey, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to mute him.
I'm
kidding, Mike. I like the new baby kicks. Like them or not, they stand out. No, they were horrible. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry. I love you. You must worry and everything, but no.
We're down to a minute left here. I just wanted to say your wiffle ball episode of the Dad Hat Chronicles, man, that was tugging on my heartstrings.
I know, right?
My memories of playing wiffle ball with my brother as a kid. That was
Let me tell you, that was a lot of fun. And that took, and I said it at the beginning of the episode, it took a lot of like finagling to meet with him and all that. Super awesome guy. We did it early in the morning on a Saturday morning, the episode. So I put the video on because he's literally inside where they make the wiffle ball. If you look at the episode on my YouTube channel, he's in the factory itself, doing it. So it was amazing. So it was awesome.
Well, that was a great episode. So we hit the top of the hour, though. It's time to go.
Thanks for having
Eric
me,
Mertens. Thank you so much for being here. This was so much
Thanks.
fun. I can't wait to see photos of the parade of visitors that you're going to be receiving.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh. I need to start like an online photo album. Yeah.
I hope you're getting a cut from all these ticket sales that are being generated and all the concession sales by people just coming out to see you. So
nah, thank you.
I was like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna need to charge you a fee for saying hi to me. So
and Phil has mentioned, today's episode is about the Florence Flamingos. It's that was
such a cool
one.
logo going from the Wolves to that. It was such a great brand.
The second appearance on the podcast by Tony Canepa, who's been fun to talk to. He also did the Make and Bacon. So
that's right. Yeah, he's good.
So anyway, all right. Well, this has been fun. Eric,
let's do this again.
So much for joining us. This was a blast.
Please.
I will see you, Eric. I don't know what the total number of days is. Probably like 80 days. I'll see you. 2 months and 3 weeks, roughly.
Counting down. I love both of you. Thanks so much for inviting me. This is the best part of my week.
Let's do it again.
We love you, and we'll see you. I'll see you in less than 3 months. I can't wait.
Woo!
I'll send you the money for the good words you just said about me. I'll send you the money soon.
You got it.
All right, guys. Ed, bye.
Ed, take us out.